Hello, I'm the Doctor.
Hey Who fans, welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. This is episode 16. My name's Gary. With me as always is Mr. Adam Charlton. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. How are you doing, Gary?
I'm very well, thank you. We're on episode 16.
I can't believe it. Where's the time gone?
Where's the time gone? Only feels like last week we were doing it before.
It does.
So we've got some news roundups for you guys. Then we're going to crash straight into our review of In the Forest of the Night. So it has been quite a busy week for Doctor Who fans especially, rather than cast and crew and all that stuff from Doctor Who. Mainly because let's just dive straight into the news, buddy. Because there's a story that we covered last week, which was that the Doctor Who experience had reopened. Yeah, and that was all good, all fine and dandy, and then disaster of disasters.
I know. And where has this come from? It's just so bizarre.
I don't know. It's kind of put taken the shine off of it a little bit. I don't know if you feel the same. Yeah,
because basically, from what I've seen, the statement is very vague. Basically, the TARDIS set tours have been cancelled from, when is it? It's the beginning of November, isn't it?
Beginning of, yeah, it's the 3rd of November through to the 20th. So literally an entire month, essentially, where they've cancelled all of the TARDIS tours.
See, what strikes me as strange about this is presumably these things are all planned really far in advance. And like you said, last week we were like, yes, the experience is back open. They've done all this video promotion and really plugged it. And then a week later, they're cancelling the TARDIS tours. And it seems really badly managed. And I find it bizarre. And like I say, the reason for it is vague. So I don't really know what's going on. I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, I can't. I've had a good look around, and so let's just be clear that the actual experience itself is still open. Yeah. So the main core thing that you actually go there to do is still open, and you can book tickets. That's all good. It's just this extra set tour, which you pay extra for at the time of booking. That's the bit that's been cancelled, and it seems strange that they've cancelled it for that much, that long. It's like you could probably excuse a couple of days here and there due to, I don't know, some sort of technical difficulty or lack of staff. I'm not quite sure, but there's literally nothing online or anything about it. All they've said is due to studio operational reasons.
That's right. Yeah, I remember it was a really vague. It was like, what does that mean?
Exactly. Yeah, it's very generic, vague statement.
The thing is that the Christmas special is wrapped. So if it was for filming, presumably it's not for that, because they've just wrapped on the Christmas special, haven't they?
Yes.
So it can't be
done.
for that. Yeah. So what other reason could there be? Somebody said, well, maybe they're redesigning it, which seems strange because they've only just sort of redone it, haven't they? Although it's they've sort of altered it a little bit for Capaldi's Doctor, but. Yeah, I just don't know what the reason is. And I know a lot of people, I know some people who have bought tickets. I know one person in particular that got a ticket for it, really disappointed, and as I say, it does seem strange so soon after re-announcing that it's going to be open. It does seem strange that they haven't sort of, whatever's come up has come up and they haven't thought this through.
Yeah, I did have a few people tweet us who had booked tickets and then were kind of left in the lurch for a while. A guy called Alan Price.
All right.
At Alan GW.
Hello,
Price.
Alan.
Hi, Alan. Yeah, he runs a cool podcast over in Belfast. And,
right.
I'll put a link to it in the show notes afterwards. And so he was saying that him and the person he was going with, just Catherine E. They're basically saying that they're heartbroken because those guys actually booked flights over.
Oh, man.
On that specific date. So they were kind of up in limbo for a bit, but then he did actually tweet me earlier on today to say he's got it all sorted. The only thing is that they're a bit lighter in the bank account because they've had to obviously rebook their flights and stuff. So another guy, Matt Sandry.
Hello, Matt.
Hi, Matt. Yeah, he's asked for a partial refund. So he was saying that it was a bonus that the set tour was offered, but just a bit gutted that these things happen. So, and then another guy, Mark Davies.
Hello, Mark.
He's saying that still no response from CrowdSurge, which is the third-party ticket company, from 24 hours on. This was yesterday
Yeah.
Or late last night. He's saying he hasn't received a response and he's gutted. The 10-year-old and his mate, they were due to go next Wednesday as it's a school inset day where the school's closed. So some very disappointed people around.
Yeah, and it seems, as I say, I mean, I hope there's a genuinely good reason for it, because it is messing people about, and especially as it's a bonus. Like they said, they've booked it to go with the Doctor Who experience, so it really does, seem a shame that they haven't sort of thought it through a bit more, and that this has happened. I feel really, really sorry for anyone that's got tickets for that.
Yeah,
and I hope they get a proper explanation for it.
Absolutely, our thoughts go out to our lost and downed Who soldiers.
Yeah,
I say that with jest, but on a serious note, it's not cool. But I hope
I would be furious. I mean, because they've obviously booked certain dates. I would be pretty annoyed. And actually, the lack of response thing is the worst. I think with anything, if ever you return something or you're waiting for an email, I just think the lack of response thing is, always adds to it and makes things 10 times worse when you don't hear back, especially on something like this. So yeah. My thoughts go out to you guys, and I hope you get it resolved.
Yeah, and do tweet us to let us know once you've actually gone, whether you managed to, if you've rearranged your tour to go on a further date, or if you just went to the experience and got a refund on the set tour bit and just did the main part of it. Do let us know how it went, and all that stuff.
Indeedy.
Next bit of news, buddy.
Oh yeah, some good news.
I love these.
Yeah, so do I.
Those guys at Silver Screen Records, they're so good.
They are good. You've got some great vinyls from those guys, haven't you?
Vinyls, yeah, they're really good at that.
No,
I'm
very envious of your Silver Screen vinyl. Like when you put pictures up, I always want to get them, but they're always limited, aren't they?
Do you know what? Little story, true story. When I first got my turntable a few months ago now, I was, the first thing you do is you jump online, you start looking at all the cool stuff that you could potentially get. And I just did a random search for Doctor Who soundtrack on vinyl. I didn't expect to find anything, and Silver Screen came up. And that vinyl that I got, which is the, I think it's series 1 and 2. It's like a double LP set.
Is it blue vinyl?
No, it's just a standard black, yeah. But on the website, it had this message on there saying it was very limited, and you had to order by a certain date to get it. So I just out of curiosity, I tweeted Silver Screen and said, I've seen this vinyl double LP on your website, but you're saying it's very limited. Just out of chance, do you have any left in stock? And she actually came back and said that message is a year old.
Oh.
But we have one left.
Oh, right.
So even though they were saying that it's like a limited run and, you had to pre-order to guarantee a copy, just out of chance, they had one sitting there.
And it had your name on it?
It had the big blue box all over it. So I nabbed it, and it's a wonderful set. But these, it's, just if you see anything on their website, because I do love these guys. They do some awesome stuff.
They
but
do.
Their website isn't quite as good as it could be. I will be honest.
Yeah.
So a few little niggly things on there. Things don't get updated as quickly as they should do. And it's not the best experience. I mean, it's okay. It's not the best experience. They've got this weird kind of checkout system-y thing that's not part of their site, and it's a bit disjointed.
That's right. It goes to another third party or something, doesn't it? I remember now.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get that. To keep costs down, you just bolt on it. That's fine. But yeah, those guys are really cool. The actual products that they bring out are really good. And did you see recently the Ghostlight double LP?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Did you get that?
I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm thinking that might be one to get.
Yeah, definitely. I love vinyl. I mean, I love it. The last one I bought was the Dominators. It was like a 10-inch vinyl. I can't remember if it's coloured vinyl or not now. I don't think it is, but it's in a really nice little 10-inch vinyl case. It's lovely. Okay. I got a thing for vinyl, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Love it. We're not talking about vinyl, though, are we?
No, we've gone down a different vinyl road.
Right, let's talk. So this is back to CD, boring ones and zeros, digital stuff.
Yeah, corroding CDs.
Yeah, but it is cool though. They've released a double CD pack for Day of the Doctor and Time of the Doctor.
Yes,
the full beans.
Now, I was really excited. I only saw this last night. And I was really excited when I saw it. I thought, oh, brilliant. They're finally getting... Because there's been some of the theme tunes that haven't been released on CD so far. In particular, the Series 7, Matt Smith one, with the really deep thumping bass, which I like.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And it's not on there. I was gutted. Right. I was like, what? I assumed, being Day of the Doctor, Tired Doctor, perfect time to get those out. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for those versions. And still not on there. I'm flabbergasted. But... That said, a great set.
I honestly thought it was going to be on there.
Yeah, no, I saw a track listing last night. Unless it's wrong, and I'd love it to be wrong. But yeah, I saw a track listing last night, and it was the first thing I looked for. I was like, "Where's the Series 7 theme?" Because I really want that. That thumping bass line. It's not my favourite theme, but I just really want it to complete the set. So I can't believe they haven't put it on there.
So what episode was that from? Time of the Doctor.
No, well, it started... When did it start? It was with the sort of ready intro, wasn't it? With Matt's face in it. When did that start?
Oh, so yeah, that was the beginning of Series 7, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's Series 7. Yeah, it's still not been released.
No.
But I'll be annoyed if they do a sort of... sometimes on iTunes, they do like exclusive tracks for the Doctor Who soundtracks, which slightly annoy me, actually. Because obviously, like, I am a bit old-fashioned. I still buy the CDs, so... I always get a bit annoyed when there's exclusive tracks on things like iTunes, and I'll be a little bit annoyed if it's one of those, because they must know people are waiting for it. If it gets asked for quite a lot on forums and stuff. Whenever a new soundtrack comes out, like the Snowman soundtrack, everyone assumed it'd be on that. I think. Oh yeah, maybe that's when it started. Yeah. Yeah. So a strange decision. I don't know why.
It is strange, and maybe they do these things just to keep you wanting more. So maybe in 6 months or a year's time they'll release some limited edition one with these extra things on there, and
maybe they're going to release a 10th anniversary of all the themes next year, 10th anniversary of the new series or something. Actually, it wouldn't surprise me.
Of all the themes.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, this is out for the 51st anniversary of Doctor Who, which is kind of getting overlooked a lot, isn't it?
Because we had
the big hurrah for the 50th, which is rightly deserved, and all that stuff, which is cool. But
so good.
But we're at 51 years, so that still needs to be celebrated, and that's a cool thing.
It's on a Sunday this year. I'm going to be in Brighton at a convention. I will be celebrating it. There's a convention in Brighton called Timey Wimey.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
cool.
Tom Baker's going to be there doing a little interview with Toby Haydock and Sarah Sutton, I think, Louise Jameson. There's quite a few good people. So I should be celebrating it there. But it's on a Sunday, and me being an old man, I was like, oh no, a Sunday. Work on Monday.
Work on Monday.
But I will be celebrating it.
Cool.
And going to work very hazy-eyed the next day.
I was just about to say, you won't probably be firing on all cylinders.
Oh no. Well, it'd probably be more the journey, because Brighton's not close to me. By any means. So yeah, I'll probably be a bit out of it on that Monday.
Yeah, so
but it'll be worth it.
Yeah. 51st anniversary. This is going to be released on that date, I think, the 24th.
Great stuff.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that you can pre-order this now. Just jump onto Silver. Just do a search for Silver Screen Records, and you'll see it on there. You should be able to order it.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Last bit of news. I love these bits. I love it when Doctor Who wins stuff.
Yes.
Because it's always... I always have this... well, not always, but I've had this conversation quite a few times with people where I'm typically banging on about how brilliant Doctor Who is and that, and they're like, well, so-and-so won this and so-and-so won that. But these Doctor Who do actually pick up quite a few awards nowadays. Which is very cool, yeah. So they've picked up the British Academy Cymru Award. Cymru.
Is that how you say that, is it?
Cymru, yeah, which is Welsh for Wales, I think.
I'm showing my ignorance here, because I see it always at the end of the credits, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. BBC Cymru, yeah, which is basically BBC Wales. So yeah, they've picked this up, and it's Best Special Visual Effects and Graphics, which is cool. And
is this for Series 7 then, presumably?
I assume so.
Or the Day of the Doctor or something, maybe, yeah?
I think it must be for Series 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think they would have... it's too early, isn't it, for Series 8 stuff to be picking up awards?
I would have thought so.
I think the only one that's gone up at the moment is it TV Personality of the Year that Peter Capaldi picked up?
Oh, did he?
I think so,
excellent.
Yeah, a couple of months ago.
Cool. I'm not sure. I didn't see that, but yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so I think that's the only one that's gone this year based on Series 8. Everything else for Series 8 will be next year.
It'll be next year. That'll be good, won't it?
That'll be very cool. They won a load of stuff earlier on the year, didn't they?
They did, and then 3 people got up. There was a bit of a sort of, people were sort of mocking it a bit, saying, who are these people? And, they're probably really important people from behind the scenes, because, there wasn't anyone sort of recognisable there. It got sort of got ripped apart a little bit, didn't it? But it was a great achievement, obviously. But yeah, people were more focusing on like, well, who the hell's that?
Yeah.
Collecting it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know who they were, but
no, it was just like behind the scenes people, like special effects people, and I think it was hair and makeup won something as well. And yeah, very cool though. Very cool.
All very good.
All good. So that's got a wrap for the news, buddy.
Okay. Oh, I love that sound. Do you know, I never get bored of that sound.
We're never going to get bored of that, ever.
Oh, it's just brilliant.
So, Adam.
Yes?
Shall we do our review of In the Forest of the Night?
I think we should.
Cool.
I think it's lovely.
You have reached your destination.
No, we haven't. We're supposed to be in the middle of London.
You have reached your destination.
Oh, stop saying that.
She's only saying it because it's true. We are in the middle of London.
We are in the middle of a forest.
Come on, team, let's do this.
We will, if you stop calling us a team.
This is an interesting one.
When did the TARDIS get a sat-nav?
When
That's what I want to know.
I love your opening question. When did the TARDIS get a sat-nav?
I've been saving that up since it aired, because I was like, you've reached your destination. What is this?
It's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
Let's ponder that for a second.
Yeah.
Why does it... Hold on. When did the TARDIS get a sat-nav? Who's actually saying that? It's not the TARDIS, is it?
I don't know.
Or is it?
I think it is. You have reached your destination, because he says, stop saying that. He's talking to the TARDIS, isn't he? Maybe he's got it to talk to when Clara's not around.
Yeah, possibly.
He needs a female voice to the TARDIS, obviously. So
yeah, because he has got some feelings for the TARDIS, as we know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm not sure if this Doctor shares that same. Yeah,
sexiest TARDIS in the universe.
Indeed. So yeah, In the Forest of the Night. So, where do we start?
Well, I'll start with the positive.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Which I thought visually was good.
Did you?
I thought the shots of the London, what's the column? Nelson's column, that's the one.
Oh, okay.
Nelson's column, and the sort of shots of the forest taking over London. I thought visually it looked good.
Okay.
I thought the concept at the heart of it was good. With the waking up to find London and the whole world presumably taken over by trees. A good concept, and that's about as much positivity as I could put towards it, really.
Okay. Our first disagreement is on the visual execution.
Right.
I thought this was dreadful, mate.
Really?
Yeah.
What, the CGI and stuff?
The whole lot.
The whole shebang?
Out of this entire series, this one really, really stumped me.
You do surprise me. I didn't think it was that bad. Yeah. I actually thought it was quite good.
Well, yeah, don't get me wrong, it wasn't terrible, by way of... visual standards these days. It wasn't, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to turn this off because it looks so bad. But it was, I thought it was just like some of the shots where, okay, let me give you a few examples.
Okay.
The bit where Maeve is running through the forest.
Yeah.
And she just kind of stands still, and there's like these wolves. You can see the eyes through the bushes.
Oh yeah.
The wolves' faces were kind of poking through, and you don't see their nose or their teeth or anything. You just the pair of eyes coming through the bush, and they digitally scrubbed out the rest of the. It just looked terrible. And
now you say that, I probably won't watch this one for a while. I've got to be honest. If I ever do watch it again, I'll be looking out for that, because I hadn't noticed. But now you say it. Yeah,
and another one would be Nelson's column. When it collapses and it falls down on them
for no apparent reason. Yeah,
for no reason. Yeah, there's the face of Nelson as it's coming down through the forest. is that completely, it doesn't look right. The angle and the speed it's traveling and everything, it just looks like some kind of
cringy.
Christmas when you go and see what they called at theatre, what they call panto. It was like a very pantomime stunt where they were kind of ducking down and this thing was collapsing on them, but the camera shot didn't do it quite right. And oh man, if Nelson's column was falling at that pace, we'd have no more Doctor.
Yeah,
put it that way.
I was just sort of thinking, well, why is that suddenly collapsed? Like, what, it was basically just there to try and give the episode some sort of suspense or and because it was struggling for me. Like, there was no, I found this really dull, this whole episode. There was no sort of threat, there was no tension to it. It just mulled along. And I think things like that, when Nelson's column fell down, it was just there to try and put some excitement into the episode. And for me, it failed miserably. A bit like the wolves and the tiger. I mean, they were in there for all of 10 seconds or whatever, for no reason. They were just there to try and inject some excitement into what was for me anyway, a really dull episode. And the first clunker of Series 8, because I think that's why I was saying to you when we were chatting on Twitter, I got into a slight heated debate, and I don't normally get involved in these things too much, but I was so disappointed in this episode because Series 8 has been so strong up to now. I suppose it was inevitable we were going to get a bit of a clunker. And I got into a bit of a heated debate with someone about this particular episode. They were defending it, and I was sort of saying, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. But for me, there were so many faults with it,
right?
That that I really and I hate to bash Doctor Who. I'm not one of these fans that goes into an episode looking for the faults. I love this program, and I love Series 8, and I think that's why I felt a bit strong about this episode being such a letdown, really, because I think it had potential. As I say, I like the idea behind it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'll give you my positives now then.
Okay,
I kind of liked the initial concept, as you say. The core story has potential there.
Yeah.
I think it was just very poorly. I hate bashing it, like you say, but I think it was quite poorly written in a lot of places, and it wasn't.
It was.
It wasn't. I think this looked like a bit of a rush job to me as well, and because if you notice, I don't know if you did notice, but Peter Capaldi and Jenna Coleman, they look knackered in this episode.
Yeah, there's a particular shot actually of Peter Capaldi, like a close up in his eyes. I mean, he looks like he hasn't slept for a week.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I mean, he probably hasn't. It's a tough recording schedule, but yeah, they did. They both looked like you could sort of almost imagine saying, right, keep the energy up, let's keep going. You could see it.
Yeah, so they look shattered. So another thing that I thought was quite cool was I'll be honest with you, when I first, when you see the Next Time trailer, there was a small part of it where you saw Maeve running through the forest and the wolves chasing, and for just a couple of seconds in my mind, I thought that this could be like a fairy tale episode. It was going to be like a Red Riding Hood kind of thing, and that really excited me just for a few seconds. But then we got realization that this was a very different story to that, and that kind of thing. But a large part of me wished that they'd gone down that route and just made it a bit more fairy tale-ish and a bit like Robot of Sherwood. So maybe not as funny and camp in a lot of places as that episode was, but a bit more of a scary fairy tale.
I think they tried to inject a bit of humour into it, but a lot of the humour fell really flat this week.
It did.
I thought, and I think you're right. I think there was potential with this. They could have done so much with it, and I think you're right. It was possibly a bit of a rush job. They probably came up with this great concept and thought, right, what can we do? And they didn't maximise the potential of it, I think.
Yeah, that was it wasn't. So in terms of positives, then, we're saying that the story was basically there. It just wasn't. It just
the
wasn't
writing
realised.
was bad.
The writing was pretty poor. The performances were very good. I don't think Capaldi was on fire as much as we've seen him in every episode previous to this one.
Not at all.
I did think he was a bit sluggish, and I think that's because at this stage in bearing in mind that when did they start recording Series 8? It was months ago now, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
They must have been up like literally towards the back end of the schedule, so they're probably really feeling it.
Yeah.
And the same with Clara, Jenna Coleman. She just looked a bit. I mean, she was still good. I really enjoyed, some of the scenes that she was in, and yeah, even Danny Pink, he looked a bit bored in this one.
He was flat this week, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I think with Peter Capaldi, they wrote the Doctor as a bit of a idiot this week. He seemed like he even says at one point, doesn't he? Oh, that's so obvious. Why did I get it? The writing wasn't there for him, and like I said, they all seemed a bit sort of going through the mill a bit.
Yeah.
Which didn't sort of add to what was an otherwise quite dull story, really.
Yeah.
Dull episode.
Yeah, and it was one of those episodes where after I watched it, and I'll be totally honest with you guys, we're recording this now on Thursday the 30th of October, and I only got round to watching it last night, so which is very naughty of me, but I am, it's still fresh in my mind. It's not one of those, because there are times where before I did the podcast, I would watch it, and then if I got round to watching it a second time, I would. But I think you do the same, Adam, where you watch it on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, and then you watch it another time before we record.
That's what I normally do. This is the first episode where I haven't. That is actually mainly for time reasons. I just haven't really had a chance to sit and watch it again. But I always like to watch an episode twice. Sometimes the second viewing, gives you so much more, and it has on a few episodes. I haven't watched this again, as I say, mainly for time reasons, but also I struggled with it a lot first time. I was so unengaged by it. I would like to give it another watch, but it's not one that I'm keen to go back to. It really didn't do it for me. There were just, one of the other things that, was the actual execution of it. Like, where were all the people? This is London.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know they said at the start, stay in your house. That's never going to happen in London. People, just the fact that there was only those characters walking around, and so somebody said to me in a chat, actually, well, we only needed to see those characters. And I disagree with that, because you want this, if you're going to make the story realistic and not just a pantomime, you need to have more people there. It didn't feel like London. It didn't. I assume it was shot in a real forest, because some of it didn't even look like a real forest. It sort of had I don't know if they used a filter on it, or do you know what I mean? Did you think that? It didn't. It sort of looked the whole episode looked a bit fake and studio. I'm assuming it was in a real forest, but something about it didn't look right.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the location, but it looked to me like they did find an actual forest, but it looked like they found one that had a particular look and feel. It was quite sparse, because I think because due to like filming restrictions and stuff, they have to get a lot of equipment around. It did look a bit sparse, and I don't know. It didn't have any character to it. Put it that way.
No, that's right. They sort of threw a few London signs around to remind you that it's in London. And one of the things I wanted to look out for, actually, and I will do when I give this a second viewing, there was a fan-made poster in the background, and apparently you can only spot it for a second.
I was coming on to that, yeah.
Oh, were you? And I forgot to look for it.
Yeah, I was about to ask you if you noticed the poster it was on a bus, right, on the side of the.
Yeah, but
bus.
I don't remember a bus being in it. I remember that people talked about it after they saw the trailer, so I meant to look out for it in the episode, but I forgot.
It's there.
So yeah, it's there, is it?
It's
that's
there,
quite a cool thing. I like the fact they're incorporating little fan things into the episodes. I think that's nice.
That is cool.
Especially as they use the fan, the fan credits, didn't they? The title sequence was based on a fan thing, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it's quite cool. I thought it was fake at first. When I saw that post, when somebody pointed it out, I thought it was just a Photoshop thing.
Just to go back to the credits, did you notice that the music was out of sync this week?
Out of sync?
Yeah. If you ever watch this episode again, the music is out of sync with the titles.
Oh.
It's bizarre. It's just not. It's just not in sync. When you watch it, it's just really odd. Like, sometimes when you get like a 1 second delay.
Oh, okay.
It's like the music is 1 second behind the credits. It's really odd, because obviously you see it every week, so you sort of know when things come in on music cues, don't they? And it's out of sync. It's very shoddy. I can't believe again, it seems a bit rushed. Like I can't believe no one picked up on it. Like a lot of fans have picked up on it. You know, so somebody even messaged me within 10 minutes, 2 seconds. Right, they said, "Oh, the music's out of sync," and I was like, "Yeah, I know." So I thought it was me. I thought it was our TV.
Oh wow, yeah. Because sometimes I just put it down to the satellite signal or whatever just being dodgy at the time. But no, so it's literally out of sync, is it?
It was. I mean, not much. And again, it's a bit of a technical thing that 99 out of 100 people probably wouldn't bother them. But I was just like, what's going on? You know, it's a very sloppy thing to get through. Again, which comes through to sort of maybe this episode being a bit rushed to get done.
Yeah. Well, that like I said earlier at the beginning, it's I didn't think it was visually executed very well at all this episode, and there was quite a few little things. Well, not just the wolves, you know, poking through the bush, and there's just loads of little things in there that just looked extremely. It's almost like they got up to this point, and they said, right, we've blown quite a bit of money on this already, and we need to put quite a bit more aside for the twin finale. Yeah. So we haven't got as much as we'd like for this one before the finale. So you've got a little bit to play with, but you just do what you can, sort of thing.
Made the best of it.
Exactly, yeah. And it was just all the way through it. Like some of the shots from space where you see the Earth covered in forest, it just looked like, I don't know. I've seen a lot better stuff. Don't get me wrong, as we've seen over the years, Doctor Who is famous for its poor effects. So it's kind of got that charm almost to it still, where you can just forgive that stuff, you know. But where you've got like just the basics, when you get the basics wrong, that's when you have to question whether things are being done right.
Yeah, and it does seem to get sort of a little bit sloppy. It's a bit like the, like the theme. It's not important, but it does add to the whole feel of the episode. It's just you sort of feel like someone's taking their eye off the ball a little bit, you know, when things are like that. I mean, the biggest issue I have with the episode is the fact that there was no sort of real threat or any drive to it. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, it didn't. They could have made so much more of what was going on, and I just. That's why I found it so dull. Really, there was nothing to keep me engaged in it at all, in terms of that. And I was wondering if sort of it appealed to younger viewers. I don't know what did your kids like it? Did they enjoy it?
They haven't seen it. I watched it quite late last night. Yeah, so they haven't actually seen it yet. But speaking of kids, we haven't talked about the child actors in this.
No,
and oh man.
That again,
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the people, the casting peeps on Doctor Who, because they seem to do such a brilliant job of casting the adult. The adult cast in Doctor Who is always so strong and really, really good. But for some reason, the kids that they get in these, it happens. It's not just this one. Do you remember Nightmare in Silver?
I've tried very hard to forget it, but yes,
brother, yeah,
it's one of my least favourite episodes. Yeah,
and there was I was just about to say another episode, and I can't think of it now. But it seems to me that when they get kids involved, they just pick these terrible child actors. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know what's going on with the casting calls on these, but
they always write them as really bratty. I mean, I know some kids are like that, but not every single one. Like every kid that's in Doctor Who at the minute seems to be really arrogant and mouthy, and just a total brat. It's like it'd just be refreshing if they wrote a kid that was perhaps just a little bit respectful. Maybe it doesn't have to be, but they're always the same. They're just always like moaning, bratty kids. Yeah.
And I think the kid that was in it a few episodes ago, in Kill the Moon, where they brought the girl up. That whole controversy about she wasn't the first woman on the moon because Martha Jones had already done that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I forgot the girl's name.
Courtney,
that's it. She was like that at first, and then there was kind of little moments where she was not too bad, and you could see that maybe if they brought her in it again, she would. We could see some good stuff there.
Well, she had a sort of humour behind it. She wasn't sort of spoiled bratty. She was sort of a bit sort of. She sort of worked, I think, possibly maybe because she's a little bit older. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't take to her, but I thought she was okay. And the kid in Listen as well acted quite well. He's about the only other kid I could think of that's been in recent Who that's sort of been okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but 9 times out of 10, it's these bratty little.
Yeah, and it's down
yeah.
to the writing as well. They just always write them as like that. But I just wondered if it appealed to the younger audience, because I know my mum is a teacher. She said some of her kids, well, not this particular episode actually, but have been enjoying it, and I can imagine them perhaps liking this episode because of the feel of it. But yeah, for me as an adult, it didn't.
Yeah, it's definitely been a series of two halves for me. We've had these very adult-based, quite scary episodes, like Listen,
Yeah,
and the Boneless Guys. You know, they have provided quite a and not just that as well. The Doctor himself has been quite dark, and he's been quite hard to read, and he's been very, you know, not as appealing as somebody like Matt Smith or David Tennant. You know.
yeah. Actually, that was the only bit I liked. Actually, was when he was so dismissive of Maeve at the beginning. He's like, it's over that way. That was the only bit of humour that actually was quite nice in the episode, with the Doctor being very much like the first Doctor, just, you know, no, don't bother me now, sort of thing. And that was the only good bit, I thought.
Yeah, that was cool, because he has these moments, doesn't he, where he's very straight and very, very quite firm, but at exactly the same time, it's hilarious to watch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I liked that bit.
There just wasn't enough of it in this episode to me.
No,
there wasn't enough.
And the mum was awful with her gawping eyes. I wish she'd been taken down by Nelson's column, because she was just a terrible actress. She wasn't even in it very much, but all she did was gawp and ride her bike, and she got from Shoreditch to the centre of London in about 2 minutes, which is pretty good going.
Yeah, especially if there's a forest in your way.
Yeah, I'd like to get myself one of those bikes. But yeah, she was terrible.
Yeah, if one of my kids went missing, probably the last thing that I would do is search around for my bike helmet and take a bike out into the forest.
What was the deal with that kid at the end? Talking of the missing kid, what was that all about, with the girl appearing in the bush at the end?
Yeah, I think that was just to end it on to give people a happy ending, I'm pretty sure, because there was nothing in there of any substance, was there?
No, not at all. And, you know, there was plenty of room in that episode where they could have put a bit of meat in there if they wanted us to even give a remote sort of care about that, because she just appeared, and I was thinking, are we supposed to be like, brilliant? Because it just was so tagged on at the end. You know, again, it just sort of topped off what was a really poor episode, really.
It was, yeah, because sometimes you have these episodes, don't you, where they're mostly okay, but there's some poor elements, but you can forgive certain things, and then overall you think, well, you know, it wasn't amazing, but I still enjoyed this one. Just to me, and you probably agree, it just didn't hit any of the right beats.
No, that's right. That's a perfect way of putting it. Yeah.
Before we close out with a review, Missy did pop up.
Yeah. What was it? Because I've only watched this once, I've forgotten. What did she say or do? It was very brief again.
Well, it was one of those weird things where somebody in Doctor Who has always got a camera attached to a satellite somewhere where they can watch the Earth from an iPad.
An iPad. Was she on the iPad again?
Well, no, she's on just a computer monitor.
Oh, right. Okay.
But she was on an iPad, I'm pretty sure, or somebody was in the last couple of episodes. Anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So everyone's got a webcam in space these days. So she's sitting there on a computer. She's looking at the Earth as the solar flare is like being dispersed by the trees and stuff. And I think she says surprising. Very surprising. I think she says surprising. As if she was expecting this to go another way. But it's one of those cool little things where it's the Missy bit was the best bit in the episode because it's one of those little nuggets where you think, what is she about? What is going on there?
Yes. And of course that led into what was an amazing, I thought, next time trailer. An actual jaw-dropping next time trailer, I thought.
It was awesome. I can't wait until Saturday.
I know. It was needed. I mean, after such a rubbish episode, it was just such a great trailer. It looks so promising. I hope it lives up to it. They seem to give an awful lot away, which makes me think, are they sort of trying to put us on the wrong foot? Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
because I thought that, you know, I've seen that on Twitter as well, where people have been saying that they've given like some really big spoilers away early. And I don't think that's the case because, you know, we've talked mostly about a pretty poor episode and pretty poor writing and casting and so on. But one thing that that the Doctor Who guys do very well is like the just drip feeding you very cool stuff, and not really giving too much away.
That's what I thought.
You
Yeah,
know, before episodes or series start, and so I think this is a bit of a red herring, because there's a bit in that Next Time trailer, isn't there, where Clara is shouting at somebody, something like Clara Oswald didn't exist or something, or doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And people have latched onto that, and Twitter went mad for a little while afterwards, saying, you know, is this going to be some kind of weird thing where Clara, you know, hasn't actually been there? It's like part of the Doctor's psyche, or you know, she's been there as part of the TARDIS or something like that.
Well, the new trailer that they're showing now starts with the sort of this red orangey smoke, and it looks a lot like when you know that scene where the War Doctor turned around when Clara jumped into the Doctor's time stream and all that.
Yes.
That first few seconds of that new trailer looks like that, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
He's out. The 12th Doctor's outside the TARDIS on the floor. Clara's kind of in this orangey smoke. And it does really look reminiscent of that, and I think that's why people are saying, well, you know, is he back in the time stream? Did she never get out of there? Don't know. Could be really interesting. I hope the payoff is good.
Yes, yeah, and I think there is a bit more to it than the trailer. I honestly don't think that they would give away huge things like that in the Next Time trailer.
Nor do I. And I love the bit where she said she got the key. And she was like, "You are never going to set foot in the TARDIS again." That sent chills down my back. You know, you're never stepping foot in the TARDIS again. And the Doctor just looks at her like, "Whoa!" You know, I mean,
yeah. I mean, let's face it. She has been pretty pissed off with the Doctor a lot this series.
She has, yeah, she has. Sometimes with good reason, but not always.
Yeah, they've kind of been like, do you know, it was quite an interesting point actually. Throughout the entire time of when we had Tennant and Smith, pretty much all everyone ever did was moan about this relationship between the Doctor and either Clara or Amy, and especially with Rose and Martha. Everybody complained all the time about they didn't want this kind of love boyfriend girlfriend kissing, you know, relationship. And now that we have the opposite to that, where they're clearly not that at all. You know, it's the complete opposite. People are still moaning. It's like, why is the Doctor being so horrible to Clara, and why is Clara having a go at him all the time? It's like, guys, you know, you need to pick a side here.
Yeah, you know, you can't please everyone.
Yeah. So, but she has been very, very straight with him, very firm, and I think it's going to come to a head in this next one where, yeah, as you say, she looks really, really angry with him. I can't wait to see that.
I can't wait. It's only a couple of days away. Everyone seems to be assuming we're going to find out who Missy is next week. And I don't know where people are so confident of that, because we've still got 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's a 2-parter, isn't it?
Yeah. So, because everyone's like, oh, well, you know, we're going to finally find out who Missy is this Saturday. Are we? I don't know. I mean, possibly we are, because the preview episodes that have been sent out to all the sort of press and that have had the last 2 scenes removed.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So that would suggest that maybe we're going to find out who she is, you know, towards the end of the episode. I hope so, because I'm just can't wait to find out. You know, the internet will go mad as well. It's going to be so cool to, as soon as that episode's finished airing, it's going to be so cool to be catching up with all the other Doctor Who fans and getting the reaction, because it's going to be big, isn't it?
It's going to be awesome.
Either way, whoever she turns out to be, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have a more positive conversation next week.
Yeah, true. And as I said before, I hate to be negative about this show. I'm not someone that likes to pick Doctor Who at all. You know, I love this program, but yeah, you know, I think next week we should be on a more positive episode, I would think.
Cool. Judging
by this amazing trailer, anyway.
So what we're going to do review-wise for In the Forest of the Night?
Oh, as a score?
Yeah, go on, hit me.
I've got to be honest. This is out of 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 5.5. I know that's low, but that's a 5.5. I don't normally do halves, but as you do, I'll go 5.5. I can't go any higher than that.
Well, I'm going to go 4.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was going to be the negative new in this one. I can't believe it. I thought I was going to be the one, you know, really down on this episode. Wow, 4.5 from you.
4.5, yeah. I can. It's one of those things where when I get the, I've pre-ordered the Series 8 Blu-ray box set already.
Limited or the?
Limited BBC
Yeah,
shop
I
one.
love that packaging.
Yeah, it looks cool. So, as we would do, we pre-ordered it. And it's one of those things where I can absolutely see myself just skipping that one.
Yes, I don't think it's one I'll watch very often.
No.
I will give it another watch. I've only watched it once. I will give it another watch at some point, but it's not going to be one that I return to very often.
Yeah, I was going to give it a 5, but then I thought, no, I'm going to take another half off, purely because there are just so many things that can't be excused.
No, there are a lot of things that didn't go anywhere in it.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. A lot of ideas, but none of it actually added up to anything substantial.
Yeah, and sometimes you have these episodes where the story's pretty crap, the effects are crap, but the performances carry it, but they didn't really do that either.
No, that's right, no.
Yeah. So Robot of Sherwood was like that. The performances were great, even though it wasn't the most amazing story ever written for Doctor Who, the performances really carried it.
Oh yeah, I mean this makes Robot of Sherwood look like a masterpiece.
So let's round this. So we see a 5.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's go for a 5.
Big
I think
Blue
that's
Box review 5.
5.
Yeah, cool. That's going to wrap, buddy.
Okay.
So that does wrap for episode 16. It's been great talking. Well, it's been kind of okay talking through most of Doctor Who with you today, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's been cool, man. I mean, even when episodes aren't as good, at least it gives us something to chew over.
Indeed. So hoping that next week's podcast will be a bit more positive and a bit more stuff to talk about that's cool.
Yes.
So I hope you enjoyed the news. If you have got, like I said, if you've got the Doctor Who experience stuff sorted out, excellent stuff. If you haven't, please keep plugging away. Keep just banging on to those guys and get your tickets refunded or rescheduled, whichever. And let us know once you've been, because it's fresh. It's a fresh experience. It's new, and I'm going to be going over there and checking it out soon. But I'd love to hear people's thoughts on it and your review of this new Capaldi-esque Doctor Who experience in Cardiff. And yeah, so In the Forest of the Night, we weren't huge fans, so we're gonna give that a 5 out of 10. We are settled on it, aren't we? 5.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah,
5
5
I
out of
think
10.
it's fair.
Cool. We will see you next time. Please jump over to the website www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can check out all the other podcasts. There's links to Twitter, Facebook, and all that stuff. And enjoy Dark Water on Saturday, buddy.
Yes, I will do. Yeah, really excited. Look forward to chewing the fat with you on that one next week.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Until next time, thank you very much. We'll see you later.
Take care, guys.